Jordan Miller interviewed Thomas Heller, Vice President of Service Experience at New York Life.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and some of your day-to-day responsibilities?
Sure. I joined New York Life about 30 years ago, 29 years ago. Have had various positions of leadership within the company. As far as my career kind of trajectory or my career path is concerned, I would say that probably half or a little bit more than half of that almost 30 years has been in leadership. The first part of that was in kind of day-to-day processing and transacting. So understanding a little bit about how that works, so it helped me as a leader. You know, I'm a strong believer in your ability to manage something is tied together with what you've seen before. So if you've seen it and you've done it, you can probably lead it and manage it better than coming in cold having not done that. My balance of work and home becomes kind of difficult because I travel quite a bit. And a lot of what I do is scheduled. So, just like you do, I schedule my work day and I have meetings and we set this up and that type of thing. What I find is that the best way to balance your work and home life is to have some level of non-negotiable scheduling.
The discussion transitioned into leadership style.
What does it mean to you to be a leader, and what do you think, what type of skills do great leaders possess?
Okay, so a couple of things about that. I'm a big believer in what is referred to as servant leadership. And servant leadership is the recognition that as the leader, you are only as good as the folks who you are serving. And I look at this, I look at leadership as an opportunity to provide guidance, support, and leadership to the people whose excellent day-to-day work have put me in a position where I can lead a fairly large organization. So, that's the way that I look at it, and that's kind of my style. The leadership piece is course correction and guidance more than it is my way or the highway type of approach. I can't sit in this office, see an iceberg, and decide on my own, all right, this is where we're taking the ship.
Servant leadership, you are only as good as the people you're serving. Demonstrate and acknowledge appreciation for staff. Leadership is an opportunity to provide guidance, supportive leadership, not to dictate what should be done.
How do more successful leaders kind of manifest both the personal and positional power?
I think it's got to be more personal power, and I'll tell you why. Because this is kind of a cliche, but if you have to put your title on the door, then there's a problem, right? So positional leadership, everybody knows what your position is. All they need to do is look at your chart,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So you're going to get a natural gravitation or respect or whatever it is that you're looking for as a leader from the fact that the people who you are dealing with know the role that you play, know what you're responsible for, right?
Yep.
So the positional leadership piece to me is less important because it's almost woven into the fabric.
Yep.
It's the personal leadership piece that you have to combine that. So where you can make a mistake is paying less attention to the personal leadership and being more enamored with the org chart.
While speaking about career advancement, Thomas Heller referenced acquiring as many skills as possible early in your career and taking opportunities to not only move up the ladder, but also to move to the side, and even backwards at times, as this may benefit the individual more in the long run, primarily through skill acquisition from these different roles.
We've provided a level of service that we think is here, that are the people that are providing the service want us to be here. Let's create that gap, and how are we going to fix that? And that's often an environmental type change. And another environmental type change is the fact that we as a department have a new leadership, right?
Yeah.
So you have to change your style there.
Sure. Absolutely, and I trust that you do that very well because you've had a couple changes within the past couple of years. So, adapting to not only their leadership style but their strategic vision and their outlook. We've kind of had to. I hate to use this analogy, but that Swiss Army knife. Having to pull out every stop we have, every skill we have to adapt to the management style that's kind of overhead or the cloud above us. What kind of importance is when you're a leader having good ethical values?
Well, I look at ethics and integrity as kind of the same thing. As a leader, you need to be a leader, and as a leader, you need to have the ethics and the integrity to be able to be candid with your team and the folks that you lead.
In closing, what is the most difficult part about you being a leader, and what advice would you give to someone going into a leadership position for the first time?
I would say that candor is the key, right? So as you take on your increasing levels of leadership and levels of responsibility, to me, making sure that everybody is on the same page, making sure that they know what it is that you're doing, that there's no hidden agenda, and also recognizing the value of the people that you're leading. So my advice to you or anybody else going into leadership is be humble about it, recognize that it's not necessarily fleeting. You're not chosen through like some random lottery. You're chosen because you have the talent to do it. But at the same time, people need to recognize that people that you're leading need to recognize that you have their back and you appreciate what they do. Absolutely.
As we take steps in leadership, wise words from Mr. Heller were, candor is key. He encourages us to ensure the members of our teams are on the same page, they know what you are doing, and that there's no hidden agenda. He recognizes the value of the people and reinforces to us the most important thing on your team is the people. When we review his leadership style, it led to a participative, facilitative style. Our group, Team 4, came up with the same leadership style, and we hope to one day be as great leaders as Mr. Thomas Heller.